doesn't mean.
But that's not what obtains generally.
No,
those cases that you're citing, those cases of an intelligent student passing every exam,
the child is an individual who has desires, who has plans, who sees themselves, who sees what they like as an individual, and says, this is what I want to do.
Most times.
Hello, welcome to another episode here on SchoolTalk Cafe. We're glad that you've been following us episode to episode, and we hope you've been enjoying. Please, we would love to hear your feedback and your comments and your thoughts, and we hope that you're liking, you're sharing, and you're subscribing. So this week, as always, I have with me
Sele.
That mysterious look. Anyway, and you know my name is Adiayo. So today, it's Choose Point again. But we're going to be looking at the question, career path. Who chooses, the child or the parent? So for me, let me ask you.
Well, I would say that the parent should choose. You want to ask me why?
I'm listening now. Parents.
I think the parent
parents.
should. It's not about almighty parents. The parent, I mean, good parents, because they are bad parents. I mean, there's no escaping that. So we're talking about good parents now. Good parents should and are really, in actual fact, always looking out for the good of their children at every point in time. And right from creche, nursery to primary and all of that, they have a clear history of that child's trajectory, as the child is performing academically. You will agree with me that to choose, okay, so you don't want to agree, but I will state here that to choose a child's career path, it starts on the subjects that child is good at, that child expresses best, himself or herself in, So, for example, a child is very good with science subjects, mathematics, biology, physics, chemistry, and all of that. And as a parent, you're looking at all the options open in that field of science to say, okay, because when the child goes to the university to read, it's those subjects, because secondary school is the basics that you're being taught of those subjects. By the time you step to the university, it's the advanced form, which is what will lead you to that career. So if the basics are weak, then the advanced form.
But I don't agree with you on that.
Okay, fine. You're going there. Fine. Just let me land.
Well, I'll lose my thoughts if I let you land.
Oh boy. Here we go again.
So I should just be quiet.
You will speak now.
I will lose my.
Okay. Go. I don't want you to hide under any excuse this time. Just go.
An intelligent student can pass any subject. Mental capacity, read, write, pass. Doesn't mean.
But that's not what obtains generally.
No,
those cases that you're citing, those cases of an intelligent student passing every exam.
The child is an individual who has desires, who has plans, who sees themselves, who sees what they like as an individual, and says, this is what I want to do.
Most times, the child that passes all subjects like that, they're not more than 5 in the class.
So. No, that's not true.
And when I say pass, I mean distinction in all subjects.
No, that's not true.
Most children are strong in one and weak. And when I say weak, it's relative though.
Exactly.
You can have an AAA in certain courses, and in others they're doing B. Those B yes, you are good in them.
What if those B's are even where the child is supposed to be? But because the school and the parents have put more pressure on those things that he's getting, he's paying more attention to those things. See,
The grades, a lot of times, the grades are an indication of
not always
the strength.
A child
A lot of times
is an individual who has their own desires, who has their own passion.
What informs the desires of that child?
For their life.
No. What informs the desires of that child?
I don't like when
most
parents
times
do
it's
this.
TV, it's fantasy.
But that's beautiful. That's a good direction.
And we're not saying they should not dream, but you see, whatever dream you are dreaming, you should ground it in reality. That's the job of the parent, and it's the parent that can do that most times.
Parents cannot impose. No, retract. Not cannot. Should not impose a subject, because I know the parents can.
I don't agree that it's imposing. I don't see it as imposing.
Should not. I'm speaking from experience.
You are helping the child.
You don't tell the child you should be a science student because, hey, I've seen your result from primary school. You are good in this particular subject.
But that's a trend that you cannot ignore.
What if those subjects are just easier in the sense that mental capacity? You see many primary school students who across board, they pass all their subjects.
Yes, they pass all, but they're stronger in some. You note that. Then when they're in secondary school, note also.
Was even the contribution to being strong in one and not being strong in the other. A child wakes up one morning and says, I want to be a doctor. But at that point, that child can't even sit down to read for 1 hour. And they will be struggling in integrated science. But child says, I want to be a doctor. You say, no, you're not good in science, you cannot be a doctor. That's what you're saying. So because the parent sees his results are not good in integrated science, in this,
that's a key part. But there are other little things, like having a conversation with that child.
Are you coming to my side?
No, I'm not coming to your side. I've had a conversation with the child. I know how that child thinks.
You are bullying the child.
I already, by having a conversation.
Depending on how you have.
How can having a conversation be bullying?
It depends. Oh, you also look at conversation.
That's not a conversation. That is imposition.
Okay. I'm talking to you. So the definition of the word is really the definition of the word.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I take
so
that back.
Please, having a conversation with the child, and you see, it's not at that point where you want to make the final choice that the conversation should pop up. You've been having those. I know children. When you ask, I've seen it happen live. You ask a child at 10,
what do you want to be? And says, I want to be
then you ask him at 12, he says B. Then you ask him at it.
Then he comes in between A and B after a point and like.
So the child is elastic, is carried away by so many things.
So let him choose
so many
subject.
Fanciful things are floating around. You as a parent, you are grounded in reality. You are in the best position to make a choice.
Which reality, sir? I want to understand which reality.
The reality of life.
Of your own generation that didn't work.
No, see, those things can be taken into consideration. Don't let's talk about that.
By the time the child gets into SS1, she should be able to say, I want to be a science student. Oh, I don't want to be a science student. Regardless of what the parents think.
You are trying to bring idealism into this.
You are coming to my side.
And it's not ideal.
I see you playing a choose point already.
When you say should, that's the ideal position.
I see you playing a choose. Just agree that you want to come to
Hold on. It's not, you are not listening to me. Hey. You said a child should. Should is a statement in idealism.
A child should.
That's ideal. That's the ideal position. But the real life position is that most times those children cannot.
Why can't they?
Because they are distracted by a lot of fanciful things that they see. You will agree with me that most of the influences of these children nowadays is by the media, whether mainstream media or social media.
The fact that
is the reality on ground.
I'll take that from you.
Okay.
The fact that the child sees.
And I'm not saying it's bad or anything.
That's what I'm getting.
But what I'm saying is we should be grounded in reality.
The fact
we
that the
as parents should not be easily swayed by all those fanciful things. We know life, we've seen life. And
but parents, please should not determine what they've seen, what they've not seen on the children. Don't project.
It's not projecting.
It's projections and many cases.
Oh boy. Okay, go on.
The fact that a child sees social media and sees maybe an influencer and says, oh, I want to be an influencer. At SS1, SS2, the child says, I want to be an influencer. There's obviously something in that child who sees herself or himself in that.
Now,
I want to be a doctor.
Hold that thought.
I want to be a lawyer.
Hold that thought for a second. You say, oh, there's obviously something. It's not obvious. At times, when you see an influencer and say, I want to be an influencer, that thought or choice could be informed by the glitz and glamour, the trappings of being an influencer.
What were the glitz and glamours of being a doctor? There was always a glitz and glamour.
Who said there were none?
Excuse me?
Everywhere
there
you went to.
Glitz and glamours in our time, even in yours.
Back in the day, there was.
Even in yours, everybody wanted to be a doctor.
Exactly.
A lawyer, the glitz and glamour.
A lot of, even the parents got carried away by the glitz and glamour.
Exactly. And many parents push their children into that.
I know that's what you are trying to guard against.
Are you coming to a truth?
But I'm telling you that parents can actually sit down and scientifically
what?
Yes, not just subjective, objectively look at their children and say this child will be good here for XYZ reasons, not because I couldn't become a doctor and so I want to push. Are you listening to me? Leave the truth point for now. They're not saying, oh, I would have loved to be a doctor, I cannot become one, so my son must be. Those projections exist, and those are not the kind of parents I'm talking about. Oh, I miss,
now is being a footballer.
All those things about
the child's leg cannot kick the ball.
All those was raining, was this in. We're not talking about that. All those projecting. Oh, I had this auntie who was a nurse. I used to just look at her in her white uniform, starch, and all that. And I tried, but I couldn't. So my own child, you can't miss that nursing. And then you project onto that child. I'm not talking about all of those.
Then what are you talking about?
You see, you're not listening. I'm talking about looking at the child's abilities in his academic performance and finding out where he is strong. You see, I'm not listening. Alone. See, that's where it starts from, because in the career path, you still follow the academic route. So academics is the key thing. How many of us with our academics? There are other things like the child's character, with the academics, emotional makeup, and all of that. You will consider those. How many of us with the academics we took and went through have landed up with the same things we studied? How many of us had proper guidance, had proper analysis and assessment of our abilities before either we went by ourselves or our parents chose for us? Do you see what you just did there? Did you see what you just did? What did I just do? You lumped it up together. Yeah, because we're talking about the two. You just picked one side, I picked one. It's still the same two. You picked two. You took my side and your side. That's what I'm saying. I did that deliberately. Because the decision is either you take it or your parent take it for you. And that's what we're talking about here. So what did I just do? I know what I'm saying. How many of us went through that motion, whether from our parents' side or the other side? I'm saying the parents are actually in a better position to take those decisions because they can even see better than the child, because they have with bias, through bias lenses. Why do you think they are looking at bias? Now, okay, so the parents can be biased. The parents can be biased and they cannot be objective, but the child can be objective. The child is the owner of his life. Oh boy. The child knows what he wants to do. And so he cannot make a mistake, cannot make a wrong choice. He's not susceptible to influence, undue influence. Those are the things you need to think about. Choose point. So you're not getting. You're not. So choose point is now a way to escape. No, because when I get tired of arguing with you, choose point. You go, okay, when you get tired. Yeah, choose point. Really? Yeah, so we're not getting anywhere there. We're not getting anywhere. Choose point. No. Seriously. Because the truth of the matter is, yes, we've seen cases where some children from the onset, and this is me strolling into truth point, where children from the onset. You've been did it around choose point for quite a while. No. I've made my point and it's clear, and those watching know that I've made. They know my point and they agree with me. No, really, they told you that right now. As we're recording, they're telling you. I didn't see your phone ring. I'm feeling their feedback. Okay. Anyways, but be that as it may, that those children strongly believe this is what they want to do with their lives, and I'm not saying they don't exist. They do. Yes. But there are not many. There are not many. Most children don't even know what they want, really. By the time they're writing the final exams, they don't know what they want. Why do you think schools have guidance and counselors? Just cool down. That most of the guidance and counselor units in schools do not work. or do not work properly does not mean or don't even exist at all does not mean that they are not effective in some instances or in some places. I know some schools that, and I even know people who are, well, they retired now. I know like 3 or 4 of them who retired. Strong hands in guidance and counseling. They've retired now, sadly enough. I don't know if they have good replacements.
I don't.
But you see, where those people are working, you can engage them to say, please take a look at this child.
Even the teachers
because they are professionals, really, they're actually been trained for that. Then plus the parents, this thing. So when you join, because really, this thing is about how much data and information you have at your disposal. That child doesn't most times, does not. But between the parents and the guidance and counseling people,
they have the student.
Yes, maybe some input from the child.
You don't no, sir. You don't need some input from the child.
Okay.
You need 100% input.
You can't get 100% input.
You can't. That is the child. You can't decide the child's life in his absence now.
So did we say absence? That's why we said some input. That's why we said some input. Even if you ask the child, leave the proverb first. Even if you ask the child, even if you ask the child to give you everything that he or she knows, you will not use all those information. Some will be irrelevant. So that's why I said
but you are carrying the child.
You will carry along. I don't know how you manage to hear that we will not carry the child along, because I never said that. No, because I don't understand how you manage to hear that. Because you are emphasizing that, and I've not said that.
Suffer with that.
Listen to what I'm saying, not what you have seen. Listen to what I'm saying. You will carry them along. But you cannot take everything they say hook, line, and sinker and use to make a decision. You should be able to, as a student, as a parent, sift wheat from chaff. And that's why I use the word some. You can't use everything. 100%.
I think that. I agree.
Exactly. So, choose point. We bring everybody involved, all stakeholders.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah? I was coming there. It's just that you're a combative human being. So you don't listen.
Papa, shots fired! You guys, you see this thing?
I'm not firing shots.
Yeah, fire shots. Push not talk, oh. It's okay. Did me I fire shots?
Okay. You are no grip person.
No grip person. It's okay.
I take back the combative.
No, take it. Did you not hear it?
You heard when I took it back. You guys heard when I took it back.
It's okay.
So I take it back.
I know.
You are no grip person.
No.
But let's we are agreeing on this one.
Yeah. All stakeholders should come to the table.
Choose point is for the best results. Everybody should come to the table.
No parental projection.
The guidance and counseling person representing the school.
Yes.
You as a parent observing the child over their track record over a period of time, and trying to find what's the trend in that child's life, and then getting an input from the child. If there are, I don't know if there are questionnaires and all that online that parents can just go and check. I'm sure if you search you will find.
But we could create this kind of questions.
I design stuff like that. You also do. So I mean, questions that can help the child, answer correctly and help that child determine what the career path should be.
I'm sure that
we can get the child just answers innocently. There's no right or wrong answer. And at the end of the day, we can, do an assessment.
You can send us a message if you need those.
You as a parent, we'll give you a questionnaire. When you feel we juxtapose the two and we come out with something fairly decent. Yes.
Please break down the English.
We merge the two together, and that gives us, a better overview. And all of that. And then if you still now want to go and talk to a guidance where they exist, or guidance and counseling officer in that school, where they exist or where they're effective, you will go with, armed with facts, stuff that you have been able to, sift through and say, this is clean information on this child. And then, guidance and what do you think in the light of this information?
I agree.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls.
And to the students,
that's our truth point for this particular topic. Everybody involved should have an input before such a decision is taken. Parents, we know you are very passionate about what your children should become in future, because you wish them well. That's obvious. But but we also know that there are times when parents can project on the child.
don't project.
At times, even for economic reasons,
Yeah.
parents can just say, this one will bring money, this one, no,
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
And to the children.
Just do what's best for the child, what the child will excel at doing,
Yeah.
and do it loving it.
Yeah.
We've seen cases where children go and study medicine, come back and give the certificates to their parents and say, it's because of you I read this one.
I have someone who
This is your own.
Yes.
I want to go and do my own
I have
now.
someone who's
You know,
done
and
that.
you don't want the child to have wasted that much time.
Your
and
time,
then,
your
you know,
money, their time, their life.
their life, you know. So please, let's pay heed to these things and just do it as it should be done so that we get the desired result. And parents too, be open-minded, please. Be open-minded. Don't just dismiss the child and say, "Ukeluma, what does he know? What does she know?" and all of that. Please, let's be open-minded and call these children, have this conversation with them. Don't talk to them or talk at them or talk down at them. Have that conversation, get into their minds, know who they are. Generally, some of us don't even know who these children are.
Yeah, we the parents
We don't know who they are.
We the parents
Whether we know ourselves. Yeah, some of us know who we are. Some of us.
Yes.
Some of us. Not all of us. Some of us.
But why are you hugging this mug like that?
I need more drink. I finished the one there and
Marke, thank you for.
yeah, Makeli, thank you for.
I thought the way he was hugging is
this.
very precious as well.
Makeli Crafts, thank you for
Thank you.
the mugs, the branded mugs.
We're enjoying them.
We're enjoying them, really. So, final bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Same time, next episode.
Bye.
Bye for now.